In this episode, I give you an NFL Week 2 recap. Episode 49 of N1 from the End Zone starts now. You're watching the latest episode of N1 from the End Zone. Please click on that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into it, I want to take a second to thank all of you guys, my subscribers, for being a part of N1 from the End Zone. As we continue to grow, we have now surpassed over 5,300 subs. I appreciate all the love and support and genuinely hope you are enjoying this content. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to leave a comment on the video because I want to know if you agree or disagree with my takes. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's start off with my San Francisco 49ers, who came up short against the Minnesota Vikings 23-17. Everybody's tripping that the team needs CMC. Now we lost Debo for a couple of weeks. That game was just a bad game overall. Literally, like there's some bad juju in Minnesota. I don't know what it is. I had them losing that game in my preseason predictions episode where I gave you my take on how I saw the season going out. I said we were going to beat the Jets, but we are going to lose to Minnesota in Minnesota because of the whole. It's been 9 straight times that we haven't won there. It's been since 1992, I think, that we last won in Minnesota. So that's like a 32-year streak. Um, we're fine. This game was so bad that even Trent Williams allowed a sack in this game. Fred Warner, he played phenomenal, created multiple turnovers, was literally, in my opinion, in contention for Defensive Player of the Year with the turnovers that he created, with literally single-handedly keeping the Niners in that game. Again, Colin was saying that the Vikings dominated. No, the Vikings did not dominate that game. They had one good drive that basically put the game away, but we dominated that game. We dominated time of possession. We moved the ball up and down the field. If we convert with Juwan Jennings on that 4th and goal, we win that game. It's 24-23. We win by a point. So things happen. We're not going to go undefeated. Jordan Mason got 20 carries for 100 yards, 5 yards a carry. We weren't bad. I know we lost Debo. BA's got to step it up. Obviously, we got Juwan Jennings that's going to probably have to step it up as well. But Juwan Jennings has been playing well. BA, he's not knocking off the rust. Cowing and Chris Conley are probably going to be vying for that number 3 spot. Once Ricky Pearsall gets healthy, we're probably going to see Ricky out there. So we're fine. I'm not tripping. We're going to get, we still don't have Talanoa Hufanga back. As soon as Odom gave up that 98-yard bomb to Justin Jefferson, they took him out and put Malik Mustafa in there. Literally, Odom, he overshot Jefferson, and he had the angle. If he had stayed where he was at, that wasn't going to be a 98-yarder. But because of that, I think they benched him. They left Jair Brown out there, and we're going to get better. We're learning. I still believe in Brock because when the going gets tough and tough gets going, Brock Purdy gets going. We're going to be fine. We lost against Minnesota. We're going to be fine. We're going to win next week. We're going to smash the Rams, who are also plagued by injuries. And again, pundits keep saying that all these other teams have dominated the Niners. Rams don't own the Niners. Yeah, they beat us in the playoffs and they beat us last year, but Kyle Shanahan in that rivalry, the Niners get up for that shit and we smash them motherfuckers. So everybody chill. Everybody calm down. Niners are going to be okay. Trust the process, okay? All right, so let's go over my picks for week 2. If you bet my picks on the spread, you would have gotten 2 and 3. I got the Jets game right. I got the Chargers game right. But if you bet my picks on the money line, you would have gone 4 and 1. I genuinely didn't believe the Falcons were going to be able to beat the Eagles, even with AJ Brown being out. I thought they had enough weapons and they should have fed Saquon Barkley more the ball in the first half. Yes, they fed it to him in the second half, but ultimately that decision to throw the ball to Saquon cost them the game. They should have just had him run it up the gut. Not saying that because I have him on my fantasy football team, because even though I was down 45 points and I came back and I won, I still think the right decision for the Eagles in that position was to probably just run the ball. Other than that, Chargers versus Panthers, they just benched Bryce Young. Sad to say, I don't think they're going to get better with Andy Dalton. Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers, they're going to be rolling this week as well, in my personal opinion. I think the Steelers are favored. If that's the case, take the Chargers, but we're not going into my picks right now. I just love what I'm seeing out of the Chargers, out of Justin Herbert, J.K. Dobbins, Jim Harbaugh, their defense. That's a good team, guys. They're smash mouth. Wait and see on the Chargers. Texans are proving me right as the second best team. Didn't cover the spread, sadly, but they still won the game. Texans, I thought were going to be the second best team in the AFC so far. I've been proven right. Caleb Williams, in my personal opinion, it's going to take until like week 5 or 6 before we really get to see him develop, where you really get to see what he was supposed to be. If it's not by then, yeah, we'll give him the entire season, but I think they need to move off Matt Eberflus, in my opinion. The defensive side of the ball is great, but I don't think the acquisition of Luke Getsy to be their offensive coordinator was the right move. They might need to find somebody else or move off Matt Eberflus. And then, yeah, the Eagles, I already told you, I thought the Eagles were going to be able to, even without A.J. Brown, beat the Falcons, especially in primetime Kirk Cousins. I'll always bet against primetime Kirk Cousins, but hey, this time he got me. So good for him. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen.
Guys, have you heard? Shady My Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
So, an update on the Tua Tagovailoa situation. He has no intentions of retiring anytime soon. He wants to continue playing, but the Miami Dolphins have done the responsible thing, and that is placing him on the IR, which means he will be out for at least the next 4 weeks. Then I believe they're going to reevaluate him, see where his mind is at. Hopefully his brain is okay. It's at a place where he can come back. This also does have the potential to be much longer than just the 1 month. I think because it is dealing with mental facilities with your brain, you should take as much time as possible. I know that's not going to be realistic. He's probably going to be back out there in a month, maybe 2 months tops, but I think he should retire. I think he needs to be there for his family. But that's easy for me to say. I don't play the game. I haven't played the game since high school. And realistically, once you give up something you love like this, it's really hard. I think because of his family, because I don't want to see a Ryan Shazier situation. I don't want to see anything bad happen to Tua, just realistically. So hopefully he can come to terms, or he can make the right decision, or hopefully he finds a way to be able to mitigate the concussion situation that he's been dealing with since he's gotten into the league. Good luck, Tua. Praying for you, praying for your mental health, and praying that you make the right decision in the long run that's best for you and your family. The team with the big D, who did not show up this past weekend, the Dallas Cowboys, falling falling flat on their faces, let's be frank, to the New Orleans Saints. Dak was on NFL Sunday on Fox, came out in his pregame interview, was saying that this week, that game against the Saints was going to be their game to go 9 straight times into the end zone and score. And they got scored on about 9 damn straight times, to be completely honest with you. They got ran through. Oh Lord. I wish I could play the clip where he says those words and then show you the before and the after, because yeah, they got ran through. Derek Carr having a reemergence, being super efficient. One of the Kubiak is his offensive coordinator now, and he's coming from the West Coast Kyle Shanahan system, Kyle Shanahan tree. I believe his offensive coordinator was on our coaching staff, and now he's the new offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. And one thing we know about the Dallas Cowboys is that they struggle with the Shanahan offense, with the West Coast offense that teams are running, at least that the 49ers run, and now that the New Orleans Saints runs. They made Alvin Kamara look like he was 3 or 4 years younger. He rushed 20 times for 115 yards, and he got 3 motherfucking tutties, ladies and gentlemen. Derek Carr was also efficient. He threw 2 touchdowns, got picked off once, but he was 11 to 16, only had 5 incompletions for 243 yards. So The Saints, at least this version of the Saints, they started off 2-0 last year. I didn't think they were going to be this good. I didn't see this coming. I knew the Carolina Panthers were not going to be good this year, but the Saints, they're shocking me. Same with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're a really good team right now. When it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, however, they're still, at least Dak, too much talk. Literally before the game, kind of put himself in that situation. Should have waited. Shouldn't have said anything, to be honest with you, on national TV coverage, and then proceeded to go get his ass beat. Yes, he threw for 293 yards, but again, a lot of the stats that he puts up is garbage time QB stats because by that point they're already down 30 points to the Saints. So garbage time stats. Threw one touchdown, got picked off twice, 293 yards, full of garbage. They really need to find a running back. They need to give Dalvin Cook a little bit more runway, something, because they ain't got no run game in Dallas right now, and that's going to come and bite them in the ass later on down the road. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and quarterback Justin Fields, who has now started for back-to-back consecutive weeks and is 2-0 as the Pittsburgh Steelers starting quarterback. This time, though, I don't believe Russell Wilson was on the bench or dressed. Last week, Russell, I think, was on the bench and basically like the emergency backup quarterback to Fields. I personally believe that Justin Fields, even though he's not putting up astronomically great numbers, he's doing enough to remain the starter even when Russell Wilson gets healthy. But in the middle of a game, if Justin Fields is having a really bad game with multiple turnovers, multiple fumbles, or they lose one game because the numbers haven't been astronomically better with Fields as the starting quarterback with that offense, I think they'll pivot to Russell Wilson once he's healthy. Personally, I'm a believer that if you win games as a starting quarterback, you should remain the starter. But because the offense has not been that good for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's doing enough to remain the starter, but he's not doing enough to secure the position until he puts up, let's say, 20 points, maybe scores two touchdowns until that offense starts to get going. They keep feeding the ball to Najee Harris. Again, the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line is atrocious. There's no way Najee Harris could carry the ball 17, 18, 19, 20 times a game and average less than 100 yards a carry. I think Najee Harris is a good running back. He's running behind a shitty offensive line, in my personal opinion. But having Justin Fields, having that dual threat capacity with him, I think that's why the Pittsburgh Steelers have been able to win games because he can move the ball up and down the field with his legs. I also think it's kind of suspicious how Russ was injured in training camp or was injured in preseason and then didn't really get to see him out there, got a little bit of a runway, and then right before week one started officially, he was injured again. It might be on Russ because he doesn't want to put bat tape out there because he knows if he puts bat tape out there one more time, his career in the NFL might be over as a starter. Or it could also be something that the Pittsburgh Steelers were kind of scheming towards in the back. Like, okay, we got Russell Wilson in here. He's not looking that good. Fields is looking better in practice. Let's see if we can talk to him and maybe we say he has an injury. We hold him back a little bit, let Fields get the runways, test those waters out. And if it doesn't work out with Fields, all right, Russ, you're healthy enough to go play and go do your thing. So there's a lot of things that can happen behind the scenes. I think it's very suspicious how Russ has not played. And right when week one was about to start and he was supposed to be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he got injured and he hasn't played since. And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him in the Pittsburgh Steelers uniform if they continue to win and Fields finally has a decent game, let's say in week 3 or week 4.
If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area and want the best cut of your life, go check out Headspins Barbershop located in South San Francisco, the official barbershop of N1 from the End Zone.
Guys, join me, Alex the Man Angelov, and check out A&A Radio, where we're going to be talking about the latest and greatest financial news, investments, banking, and personal finance. Check out the channel and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
Moving on from the Pittsburgh Steelers conversation, let's talk about some teams that I've been blatantly wrong about this year, ladies and gentlemen. So the first team that I thought was going to be having issues is the Buffalo Bills. coming out with Josh Allen, coming out with James Cook, Keon Coleman. They have been incredible. They are a much better team this year than they have been in the past. Yes, they lost Stephon Diggs, who is a versatile number one weapon, but Keon Coleman. But the team as a whole seems more unified. It just seems better this year. Yes, week one, they relied heavily on Josh Allen, who got 4 touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 rushing, and basically carried them against the Arizona Cardinals to win that game, high scoring game. And then week two, Buffalo Bills defense clamped down the Miami Dolphins, who have Tyreek Hill, who have Waddle, who have Devin Achane, who's still a serviceable running back, even though they don't have Mostert. They picked off Tua 3 times. And rather than relying on Josh Allen and his talents, they handed the ball off to James Cook. Josh Allen did enough. He protected the ball. He didn't put the ball in risk. They just look like a much better team this year than they have in the past. Another team that I've been surprisingly pleasantly surprised from is the New Orleans Saints. I didn't see this coming. I thought Derek Carr was washed. I didn't think he had it in him anymore. And then to come out back to back weeks, putting up 40 plus points in both weeks and smashing the Dallas Cowboys, who a lot of teams thought were going to, after what they did to the Cleveland Browns last week. Jack got that contract. CeeDee Lamb got his contract. They thought Cowboys were going to be rolling, that they were going to roll the Saints. The Saints rolled the Cowboys. That offense, Alvin Kamara is looking phenomenal. Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed are coming into their own at the wide receiver position. The team as a whole, the addition of Kubiak to be their offensive coordinator has really paid off, and I really think the Saints have a real strong chance of competing for that division crown or a NFC wildcard spot, the spot that I thought the Chicago Bears was going to have. So I've been very wrong about the New Orleans Saints. Now, I just mentioned the Bears. Let's talk about how wrong I was about the Bears. I thought with all the weapons that Caleb Williams had, you have DeAndre Swift at the running back position, you have Keenan Allen at wide receiver, you had DJ Moore, you just drafted Romeo Odunze, you have a decent offensive line, so you should be able to protect your quarterback. Um, I've been wrong about them. I thought they were going to be much, much better than what they have been. To be completely honest with you, Caleb Williams has been a bit of a letdown for me. I was sick and tired of the expectations that Nick Wright from FS1's First Things First was putting on him, being Super Bowl contenders and all that. I was personally just tired of that narrative. I thought he was going to be much better than what he's played as, but realistically, I thought the expectations that Nick Wright had for Caleb in year one was just way too high. The defense for the Bears has carried them, and that's why they are 1-1, and that's why they've been in the games that they've played in the last couple weeks. They beat the Tennessee Titans because Will Levis is a horrible quarterback, and they were in the game against the Texans because of their defense. But other than that, Caleb Williams is still has growing pains to go through, but I just don't think they're going to be that 10-17 that I thought they were going to be. I feel much more comfortable with them being a 7-10, 8-19 this year, and Caleb learning the NFL system and hopefully progressing. I still think week 5 or week 6 is when we're going to see the best of Caleb Williams. Another team that I feel like I was wrong about, and yes, I know it's early on, but they're 0-2, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. I had the Baltimore Ravens essentially being the third best team in the AFC and winning their division. After 2 weeks, yeah, I had them losing against the Chiefs. I didn't think they were going to beat Kansas City at all. But when you lose to the Raiders, wow. I was on the Minshew Mania hype. You guys know that I love Gardner Minshew. I love his personality. I didn't think the Raiders were going to be that good, but Gardner Minshew and Pierce, their head coach, they got the pulse on that team. They came back and they beat the Ravens. They beat the Ravens, and now the Ravens are 0-2. Lamar Jackson, I feel like the same issue that Tua had, losing the weight that he lost to be able to move and be more mobile. That impacted him ultimately, and that's part of the reason I think why he got a concussion, because he got a little bit smaller. There's multiple factors there. Is the same reason why
I feel like Lamar Jackson might be a little bit more injury prone this year. He lost the weight after week 1 with the Kansas City Chiefs. It was reported that he was sore. And then when he faced the Raiders this past weekend, he didn't have enough gas in the tank to get them to win. He's a two-time reigning MVP, unanimous MVP. And for him to come out and lose to the Las Vegas Raiders, who are still in a rebuilding process, who are still early on in that phase, with Antonio Pierce as their head coach, is what really surprised me, for them to come out and lose that game by a field goal after I thought they were gonna I thought they were just gonna win.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for When You're Right, You're Right. In this segment, I'm going to tell you what I've been right about this NFL season so far. Number one, the Kansas City Chiefs being the top team in the NFL so far. They've gone up against the two opponents they faced in the last two AFC championship games, and they have dominated. They dominated, in my personal opinion, the Ravens. They say if Isaiah Likely's toe wasn't on the line, it doesn't matter. They were down 10. They scored a touchdown, and it was a last gasp effort by the Ravens to win that game, and it didn't happen. Chiefs won that game. The Bengals, they had the lead, and then they came back, drove 50. In Patrick Mahomes' worst game of his career, still came back and won that game on a pass interference that was a real pass interference call. Yes, I understand people want the refs to miss a call for the Chiefs, but that one was blatant, and they are still the number one team in the NFL. This is coming from a 49er fan. I love my San Francisco 49ers, but I have to give the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, their due, especially because of the way that they've been playing. They just lost Isaiah Pacheco, but they brought back Kareem Hunt. I think if Kareem Hunt can make it onto the 53-man team and actually get the ball in his hands, he's going to be able to help that team out tremendously. I think the Chiefs are still gonna be a threat, even if Marquise Brown is gonna be gone for the season. Xavier Worthy is still gonna develop this year, and the Chiefs are gonna be a tough, tough team throughout the entirety of the season. Another team that I've been right about so far is the Houston Texans, who, in my opinion, have been the second best team in the NFL this season, if not the second best team in the AFC. They dominated offensively the Colts defense. Their defense needed to be better this week against the Bears, and they shut down Caleb Williams and held them to 13 points, which was enough for the Houston Texans to win. It wasn't their best game by any means necessary, but they still put up 19 points, which was enough. So they're starting to find their balance. Offense and defense are going to start complementing each other. Will Anderson Jr., Derek Stingley, you got D'Amico Ryans, I believe, calling that defense over there. I think the Texans are going to get better. They're going to be the second best team in the AFC, in my personal opinion, if not the third best team, because another team that I've also been right about, the Los Angeles Chargers, led by Justin Herbert with Jim Harbaugh and J.K. Dobbins. They looked incredible. They're 2-0 so far. I've been right on the money about them. I know what to expect from a Jim Harbaugh-led team. Grit, grind. Who's got it better than us? Nobody. I got the sweater still when he was with the Niners, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying. So I've been right about the LA Chargers. It's exciting to see what they're doing. Maybe they give the Kansas City Chiefs problems and fits. I have the Chargers beating the Chiefs when they meet for the first time this NFL season. So we'll see when it comes to that. I believe I'm going to be right there as well. And another team that I know that I've been right about, I could say my Niners, because I predicted this loss against Minnesota. There's just some bad juju there against the Minnesota Vikings. But that's not the one. The Arizona Cardinals. I thought they were going to be feisty this year. I forget their head coach's name, but I thought they were going to be better under him in their second year. Kyler Murray is fully healthy this year heading into the season. They acquired Marvin Harrison Jr. First week, high scoring game. That was a Josh Allen game where they put the team on his back and they won the game. But after they lost that game against Josh Allen and the Bills, they defended their home turf in Arizona, put up 41 points on an injury-plagued LA Rams, and just are giving you signs of life. That's something that they haven't had in a while. And with Kyler Murray healthy, I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to be contenders for maybe a wild card spot if not the NFC West in the next couple of years. I don't see them being real contenders this year. I still see the Niners dominating, but they're making it very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. And that concludes when you're right, you're right. Moving on to empowering with positivity.
Guys, you're watching a Shady Mob production. Make sure to follow the Shady Mob podcast where we break down all the latest content and talk about life. Please make sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
Time for empowering with positivity. In the last episode, I shared with you guys that Shady Mob Productions was going to start rolling out their tees. We were going to start doing our branding. We're trying to get our reach out more. So we aren't officially launching yet, but ladies and gentlemen, I have designed and created my first tee for anyone from the end zone, and I wanted to share that with you guys. Oh, it is honestly a big step for us, especially because we're also going to be rolling out A&A radio tees. I have those, but I'm not going to share those because I feel like Alex should be the one sharing that tee with you guys once he gets it. I'm the one creating the shirts in the End Zone Empire, and we're doing everything in-house. If you guys want anything customized or made, hit us up. Just DM us on our social media platforms. We'll be happy to help you guys out. But hey, it's just inspiring. We've been growing tremendously this past year, and we're excited to be able to actually start diving into this portion of it. Once we get the Shady Mob website up and running, we'll be adding the links to that. We'll be sharing everything with you guys so you guys can get the tees, so you guys can support Shady Mob Productions, and so you guys can keep getting the content that you enjoy here, and hopefully we can improve some of the content that we've been putting out for you guys. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, guys, please subscribe, like, and comment on the video. Share this with your friends, families, and partners. Make some money with my picks, listen to my sports takes, or just watch for some positivity. Always remember, desire is power, and if you desire to be great, you have the power to be great. Thank you for watching another episode of Unwin from the End Zone. I love and appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for more.